Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News9 Live with me, Kabir Naqvi, and that's the question we're asking, because is it really a stray problem? Here on this show, where we discuss the pressing issues that are making headlines across the nation, today we shine a spotlight on the escalating dog menace, which seems to be spreading across both the northern and the southern parts of the country. Recent incidents have shocked communities as stray dog attacks in Telangana's Mahabubabad left 14 people injured, including children. And that's not all. In Telangana itself, an 8-year-old boy, according to a canine biting spree attack, the 8-year-old boy was mauled to death. Now, in Hyderabad, a delivery person had a narrow escape from a pet Doberman, which resulted in severe injuries because, well, as visuals will put it, the delivery boy had to jump off a third floor. Now, these incidents highlight the urgent need to address the stray dog problem, considering the tragic death of an 8-year-old boy that I was just talking about, this being reported from Kazipet in Telangana just a few days ago. Now, we are going to delve into the reasons behind the abundance of stray dogs in India. We're going to try and assign responsibility and explore potential solutions to this ongoing crisis. Joining us on the broadcast is S. Muralidharan, animal activist. We are also joined by Ashina Swarkar, animal rights activist, and Naresh Kadyan, who's the convener, Animal Welfare Society. A very warm welcome to all of you on the broadcast. To S. Muralidharan, first and foremost. Well, we're looking at a situation where the population of humans is the most on the planet, and at the same time the stray dog population is pretty much nearing the 35 million mark. At this point in time, the community and the society is divided. You've got those who aren't pet lovers, who don't necessarily like dogs, stray dogs roaming around nearby their houses, their vicinity, and you've got those, the good Samaritans, you know, people who really step out every day, feed the stray dogs, are dog lovers in general. Both of these communities and society particularly divided at this point in time. Even as we begin this debate, Muralidharan, how do we, put forth this question? How do we approach this stray dog menace? Because it is a problem, but our stray attitude towards this stray dog problem is not helping us at all.
Hello?
Well, Mr. Muralidharan, are you with us?
Voice is not, it's breaking.
You're with us.
You're
We
not
can hear you. Do go on.
Is it for me?
Yes, sir. Please do go on.
I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
Well, we're going to quickly fix that up. Let's, in the meantime, go to Ashna Swarkar and put this question to them. Ashna ji, how are you looking at this situation? If you heard my question, how do you think we should approach this stray dog situation right now?
Whatever has the incident happened, that was very shocked and saddening because we cannot afford getting getting a lot of childs into this, and then every day we hear a lot of stories that dog haul the children, then dog bites some the taxi driver or the Ola rider. So what I personally feel is we have to think about it, that as you mentioned that the Doberman tried to just bite the delivery guy. So what the only solution I find is one needs to try and adopt the Indian street dog rather than keeping the lot of expensive foreign breeds, because those are meant to be kept for security, and then that's a nature that they'll be biting for their protection. So what I particularly feel is there's a dire need to adopt the Indian streeties, because the one and only reason of Indian street dogs falling towards each other is they die of hunger, they sleep, they sleep they have sleepless nights because of no access to food and water, and this changes their behavior, and then they get aggressive, and this is the main cause what I personally find, that they bite.
But I mean, like personal gratification as well, Ashna. Some people don't necessarily want to give the dog a good life. Some people just want a stuffed, live animal at home, a showpiece as it were. People are buying dogs these days just to get famous on Instagram. I mean, how are you going to put this idea forth to them that, look, I mean, we're showcasing these visuals. Take a look at how that street dog is going after this lady who's going to bring this particular dog back to their home. I mean, of course, you will have people in society, the real good Samaritans that I was talking about. People will want to bring, rescue these dogs from various shelters, try to give them a good life. We already have so many stray dogs, like you pointed out. But I mean, the decision is so personal, it is so subjective, it is so unique to each person. How will you promulgate the idea? How do you put this thought? How do you in their heads that let's go for street dogs, let's not go for hybrid pet dogs that look good on Instagram, but we're not necessarily helping these voiceless animals, our furry friends.
So there's always a saying one should not go to the real life, but they should look after the real life. So same as with the Instagram people, just because they want to get famous. So this is not a thing. When you just get the real life, you can see they are doing a lot of stunts, and then they are a happy puppy to keep and everything. But if you look at the real life, because I've got a lot of friends, those like their dogs are dog influencers on the Instagram. So when I see the real life of the person, they are getting trained, and then there's a term called as compassion. So when you are compassionate towards animals, though it be any breed, I'm not talking about the Indian breed, though it be a Doberman, though it be a Rottweiler, which are considered to be a very the aggressive breeds amongst the dogs. So there comes the point when you get acclimatized to the the real world. So you'll have to show compassion, otherwise dog won't understand the language. Though it be any animal, they won't understand the language that go sit, or do not bark me, do not bark on me, do not bite me. So there goes the word. If we be compassionate towards animals, if we show kindness, so we'll be getting the kindness in return. They won't bite.
That's actually a fair point. I mean, if nothing's really working, you got to give compassion a chance. I agree with you there, Ashna. But if one really tries to decode who's responsible behind this stray dog crisis, this stray dog menace in India, one has to look at, is it the government's fault? One has to look at whether it is the animal welfare department's fault. Is it those organizations, or is it humans in general, the individuals? And if the answer, Ashna, if the answer is all of the above, then let me tell you, we're in a thicker soup than we had actually imagined.
Yeah, absolutely. I find everyone is equally responsible, but for most of all, the priority should be taken by the government and central and state itself. Like I've seen in Delhi and Gurgaon streets, there are a lot of dogs, but they are being sterilized. So here's the point. If I talk about Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu or south segments of India, so this particular point is weakened there. So they should be, the central government should start taking the steps to sterilize the dogs to, undergo like the ABC operations. Also, the RWA societies are not liable to relocate the dogs as per the new law, which was under Article 51. So now they cannot relocate the dogs. So they should equally take the responsibility if they are looking after some stray animals or group of pets, like 2 to 3 dogs into the particular society. So they should sterilize it. Also, they should write the letters, because Animal Welfare Board of India is very actively looking after the people who need to volunteer. So they are giving the funds to them, so they can sterilize them, or they can take them to the nearest municipal corporation sterilization offices or the institutions to get them sterilized. But it is individual's responsibility, definitely, if I say it once again. And also the government should look after the sterilization process very seriously. Otherwise, it may lead to every day there are a lot of cases registered that 10 dogs bite this. But if we look towards the segment that is the most neglected segment into the society, that no one cares if the dog is getting raped. Sorry for using the word, but there are dogs, there are cows who are getting raped, who are getting killed, who are getting stabbed by knife. So this is the ultimate result of them getting very aggressive to the humans.
All right. Well, we're going to quickly try speaking to S. Muralidharan, the animal activist with us here on the broadcast. Mr. Muralidharan, can you hear us now from the studio?
You tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, what's your outlook on the recent cases that have happened in Telangana? We've got 14 people who are injured, an 8-year-old boy that was mauled. Earlier in Greater Noida and Noida, we saw cases. Kerala was, in the limelight for the stray dog menace in Palakkad, especially. What's your essential outlook towards it? I mean, you're an animal activist, and like my first question to you, the community is divided. So how does one approach this situation, this stray dog menace, the stray dog crisis in our country?
When you say community, you're only talking about 5% of those people who are feeding these dogs. And 95% of this nation is suffering. One. The ABC program is something like 27 years old. It has completely failed. It has not seen any results because it's plagued with corruption. It's in the hands of governments and private NGOs, etc. Now, let's look at the 2001 rules, which was amendment which was brought in with the ABC, annual birth control rules. That rule was not even tabled in the parliament. It was not implemented. Let me come to the 2023 rules, which is nothing but a sugar-coated version of 2001. Now, this sugar-coated version, they want Resident Welfare Association to feed dogs. They've given a new name for the dog as community animal, thinking that will be hunky-dory and everything will change. Nothing is going to change because last 6 years, we have had almost 4.5 crores of dog bites across India. You vaccinate all those people, a 2,000 rupees vaccination you need to give, that will amount to 8,200 crores. This is corruption. This is what's gone to the pharma companies. That is the reason you have certain NGOs, the Animal Welfare Board of India, which is turned rogue, I would say, because it has only worked for the interest of the foreign NGOs and foreign funds. You see the recently concluded Jallikattu case, where the case was between Animal Welfare Board of India versus the Union of India. That is the biggest joke. Because that board turned rogue for 20 years ago, and it's in the hands of a member of parliament in Delhi, and it is getting misused. So whatever the AWBI brings in, even this current rules, this will be thrown in the dustbin very soon by the courts across India for a simple reason. It takes away the rights of people to live without fear. And the number of dog bites, it's rising. 22 lakh dog bites in Tamil Nadu in last 1 year. Can you beat that? And that's the kind of, dog bites you're seeing across India.
And those bitten include children and senior citizens as well. And if your points are anything to go by, it seems like at the bottom line, there is a corrupt administration, people trying to exploit the loopholes in the legal system to their advantage. Is that so? Is that so? Essentially a case of money going to the dogs.
Yes, the money is supposed to go to the dogs. It's not going to the dogs. It's going to the pockets of some people. Now, having said that, see, the current issue right now is, we need to get rid of this. See, the animal activists or the community which is being, only 5% of the people are coming and defending them. 95% of the people don't even talk about this. They are not talking about this. And how many dogs are these dog feeders feeding? Not even 5% of the dog, 95% of them. See, they talk about these 5 freedoms of animal. The first freedom is they should not be, they should have clean food and water.
Well, all right, some technical difficulties with Mr. Muralidharan over there. Just at the 5th point over there, clean food and water. But he does have a point. All those people who are stepping out, Ashna, it seems like, Mr. Muralidharan here has a point. How many dogs do they actually end up feeding? I mean, is their voice really credible in this debate at all?
See, what I particularly feel, I don't think like you and me and all the people will be here debating on the things and then, having some pity on these stray animals. But I don't know where as Sir said, that all goes into corruption and nothing comes for the dogs. Ultimately, all goes in corruption. Here, we'll be doing the debates and everything, but I don't know when the government will highlight the point that, yes, those animals in need really want some shelter and clean food and then clean water and then accommodation for them as well. Either government should start an NGO, the governmental organization or institute where the dogs can be kept post and pre and post surgery of the sterilizations. So this will definitely result into some positive change in the environment as well. And the dog population can also be controlled, and also this will lead to the the lesser animal cruelty and then the coexistence part between humans and animals.
Well, all right. We're also joined by Naresh Kadyan, who's the convener for the Animal Welfare Party, with us on the broadcast. He's going to be with us soon and give us a sense of, what kind of queries and complaints really come to him. Mr. Muralidharan is back with us on the broadcast. Mr. Muralidharan, going forward, the future steps. Prime Minister Modi in his Mann Ki Baat address, I remember, a couple of years back, spoke about how people shouldn't discriminate the Indian, dog breed and start really adopting and rescuing the Indian dog. What's the way ahead? What are some first crucial steps that we can take in curbing this dog menace?
See, first of all, let me talk about Narendra Modi ji's, speech. When he said we should have Indian dogs, people went to each and every corner, brought in all the hounds and tied them up inside apartments. These hounds are hunting dogs. They need to shed their energy. They are, fast runners. And that itself amounted to cruelty. So first of all, we need to understand which dog is for what purpose. Only then we can decide, where to breed kin. And the solution going forward is government should open up shelters, because this is not going. Any progressive country in the world has dogs in the street, because it's not only a cruelty for the dogs, it's also harmful for the human beings. As I said, the 5 freedoms. One is free food and water, clean food and water. Second is no fear from any kind of threat. Today the dog is always scared somebody is going to pelt stone at them, somebody is going to run over them. Next is thermal or any environmental reasons like cyclone or severe summer. They shouldn't be suffering of all these. And last but the least, and they should not have any injuries from this. From losing limbs and becoming blind or whatever and suffering. I saw a dog other day in Noida running with 3 legs. I'm not sure why that dog should be alive, because such peak summer, no food to eat, and what will happen to the dog? And if you have all the 4 freedoms, the 5th freedom is to exhibit normal behavior. The dogs now are not exhibiting normal behavior because they have been abused. That is why they are hunting in packs, they're killing. You missed out one point. We have to speak about the number of wildlife these dogs are hunting and killing. You go to any wildlife sanctuary, there are packs of dogs hunting deer and all the other herbivorous animals, rabbits, etc. They are hunting kids, they are hunting elderly, they are hunting wildlife. It has become a nuisance. People are getting outraged and people are showing their anger towards street dogs, beating them up, killing them, poisoning them. So it is actually detrimental for the street dogs.
Mr. Muralidharan, how is the Forest Department tackling that particular situation? Could you throw some light on that as well? Because the Forest Department, a department that's well versed with the behavior and the tendencies of various wild animals as well. Organized crime, running in packs, hounding and attacking in packs. How's the Forest Department tackling this?
Forest Department is also, they also have their own set of, apathy, they really don't care, because, if they really care, you won't believe Tamil Nadu Forest Department brought 4 dogs, for wildlife crime control. First of all, you should not let dogs inside the wild, because you have big cats there, and these dogs can carry distemper, which is a dreaded disease, into the wild. First of all, the dogs have no business inside the wild, and the Forest Department should stop it. But Forest Department had, they adopted 4 dogs whom they are training to go after crime control, which is wrong. So there are set of challenges everywhere. But overall, dogs being in the street, it's cruelty to them, it's abusing them, and you need to take them out, put in shelters. And all these dog lovers who they can go there and ensure these dogs are taken. Government shelters are not really going to care. We know the conditions of most of the shelters. So the animal lovers, the feeders, that becomes their responsibility. They can form small communities, take turns, go and inspect and monitor these shelters and take care of these dogs. So there is a solution. But how will they want to do it? No, because the biggest NGOs in the country are in the hands of the pharma companies. 8,000 crores is what I told you, only because of dog bite accidents, the vaccination. Then there are other surgical accessories, etc., dog food, etc. That market is probably $1 billion in India. So that market is what is driving street dogs. See this the photo you're showing now. Street dogs have been given dry food. The dry food is harmful for their kidney if they don't drink enough water. These street dogs do not have enough water. So these are things people, do. So this is a mafia. I will call it a mafia, and this mafia had to be brought down. Unfortunately, some of our courts have been very lenient, and there are judges who have been dog feeders. So they've been saying that no, let the dog be in the street. No, sir. I'm sorry, my lords. The dogs have to be in shelters. They need to be cared and they need to be loved. A dog is a pet animal. Let's understand that. And they have no business to be in the streets. And a homeless dog is a deranged concept, and it should be stopped immediately. And I hope the Animal Husbandry, Mr. Rupala, the minister, takes notice of this, because he didn't even know the current rules which were passed for ABC, and it is completely flawed, and it's anti-animal rights, human rights, etc. Unfortunately, the Animal Welfare Board of India, as I told you, which has turned rogue, has passed these rules without the knowledge of the minister. So these things have to be exposed, and this has to be fixed.
Well, you know what, Mr. Muralidharan, it's ironic because your Twitter handle, you go by the name of Yes Milords. But that particular plea where the courts need to intervene with a more stiffer, more heavier hand when dealing with the stray dog crisis is something that people out there watching this live stream need to think about as well. Going across to Ashna as well. You know, Ashna, owners over here of pet dogs, they also need to cooperate in training programs, don't they? There are many dog owners who are simply unwilling of undergoing training programs, really understanding the temperament, the behavior of their dogs. Would you like to send a message across to all the pet owners out there who've just kept stuffed real toy animals at home, not really understanding and justifying the fact that you've got a life that you need to take care of as well?
Yes, yes. There's a very deep and meaningful message I have for every dog owners, not only the dog owners who are gonna, who are gonna adopt a dog or any street animal in future. So first of all, you should be very compassionate, not only with your pet animal, but also the street animals, because sometimes I've seen, like, if someone is walking their dog or their cat, so they pile stones on these street animals, and I don't understand from where you have that pet lover, pet lover trait inside you. So first and foremost is to be very compassionate, and then they should teach their further future generations, they should teach their children how to be kind towards animals, because kindness and then the education, the basic education begins from home. Their children observe the things and then they try to replicate it. So if you are being kind to any animal on the street, so they'll be getting the same subject as to be kind and to help them and to give them the shelter, to provide them food and then clean water. So this is the basic and then the foremost the statement I would like to give for all the pet animals. Also, I've seen, like, if we talk about the whole country, not every human is same. Like you have seen in the Nepal, there's a Kukur Tihar festival, so they celebrate the compassion and then the loyalty towards the dogs. So I think everyone needs to educate their child as well, that yes, there exists the coexistence, that works together. So this is all it about it.
Well, all right. You know what, Mr. Muralidharan, the Kerala Chief Minister, Pinarayi Vijayan, he's on record for saying, and this is sometime I think towards the end of last year, where he says that we need a scientific solution. Now, coming from a chief minister, it means that the administration of the state has taken into account that there is an actual problem. And let's not shy away from the fact India is facing a stray dog crisis. Now, scientific solution, do you think that's just a better way of saying that, let's just get over with the situation? Let's completely kill all these dogs? Because is that even possible? Or is scientific solution, here in the shape of a sterilization, vaccination process?
See, the scientific solution, as he said, I don't think he was referring to total mass killing, but we were mass killing them earlier. Till 1995, that was the order. And we used to take these, people used to take these dogs and taken to some pounds, and they'll be put in a gas chamber and killed. This is what we used to do earlier. Now that was stopped. That's when we became compassionate and we started doing this ABC. Now, people keep quoting that, Netherlands, who also started at the same period, animal birth control, does not have any dogs. No, animals, the Netherlands has a very strict, policy towards, non-compromising policy towards stray dogs. They do euthanize aggressive dogs, like the dog which killed a baby in Noida. And you'll be shocked to hear that there were intervention of some member of parliament, and all those dogs came back to the same vicinity. So, and the person, there was an audio conversation where the person confirming, yes, these were aggressive dogs, and she knew about that biting problem, etc. So if the dog is biting, even the current law which they enacted, rule which they enacted, 2023 ABC rule, it says they will take the dog, keep it in a shelter, observe for a few weeks. If it doesn't have rabies, listen to this, it will be put back into the same place. The dog has a biting problem. Dog doesn't have rabies. So biting problem also, it's dangerous. You have to take the dog back, and those dogs have to be put down. You don't have a choice. Because of that dog, rest of the dogs also will get harmed, saying that people start, labeling every dog is ferocious and hunting people. So whenever there is a situation like that, an aggressive dog, they have to be put down. Rest of the docile dogs can be moved to shelters, and shelter is the way to go. Even Istanbul, Turkey, has started this because they were very compassionate, just like India, feeding dogs, doing all this drama. 5% of the animal lovers and 95% of the nation was suffering. This was to happen there. Then they said, no, this is not going to help. Then they built shelters. They built beautiful shelters. See, when a state like Noida can make lovely cow sheds everywhere and take care of them, and why not? This is the next step. See, you have to make a decision. Either you want to be compassionate and ensure that all animals are protected, or you want to be ruthless to be giving priority to human life and hygiene, etc., and to become a progressive nation. No progressive. You take China, or even China, like from a third world, it has come up. You go there, there's no dogs in the street. Go to Singapore, there's no dogs. It's only in the third world countries because the pharma companies benefit out of that. They manipulate the law, they manipulate, they play around with politicians, bribe them, and they keep the dogs in the streets. So this has to be taken out. I'm sure the government is, looking at it. Even the courts have started turning around. See, for example, the Jallikattu, initially they said, 5 freedoms the bull should have. Now the government has understood, no, there is a cultural element and value to it. So keeping the dog in the street, there's no cultural animal value. It'll be actually abusing them. They are pet animals. They're so loving, so caring. They should be at home with human beings and not on the streets suffering. So this is the solution, and I don't see any other remedy here.
Well, all right. And what do you choose, Mr. Muralidharan? Is it compassion or is it ruthlessness?
No, I will take a middle path.
Because I'll tell you what, Ashna has chosen compassion straight up.
Yeah, compassion not from the heart, from the head. That's what I would choose.
Well, all right. That's a nice way of putting at it. Ashna, would you like to echo on what Mr. Muralidharan here is talking about?
Yeah, see, definitely everyone has got their own views. If we have a set of 10 people who are dog lovers and animal activists alongside, so definitely they'll be having some, lot of n number of solutions for this. So like, as Mr. Muralidharan said, that you need to be compassionate, and then you need to think like not to be a ruthless person, not to be a compassionate completely, and then to be a compassionate person with mind. But yes, and definitely with mind you should be compassionate, but also you should be compassionate by heart. As I told you, kindness teaches everything, and I believe whatever I've seen into my life till the age, but I believe compassionate can make every individual kind. So if we be very compassionate toward dogs, if we start the training programs, like I've got three pet dogs. One is Labrador and two are Streeties, which I adopted later. So they had the biting problem, the similar problem which everyone faces, and then they create a menace that yes, the dog bites, he might have rabies. So that's not the point, as Mr. Said. So the point is, you need to train them. I didn't send them to any training program or something. I assisted one of my friend, and then I trained them at home, and now they are very kind and compassionate to every animal around them. They don't even bite. But yes, if someone tries to shoo them, if someone tries to pelt stone, then they have the defense mechanism. They start bite. They can bite, and they can they start barking and biting to the person, like any random person.
Well, absolutely. And do you think, Ashna, that a balance can be struck between ensuring the safety of communities, be it ruthlessness and showing compassion towards stray dogs? Is there a balance that can be struck? Is that even a possibility?
Yes, that's absolutely. There's a possibility. There's always a path from between a ruthlessness and then the compassion. There's a path. If we choose that path, there will be a lot of solution for the government, for the individual, for the RWA societies. Everyone will be having the solution. But yes, that comes with the mind. Again, this doesn't come with the heart. This comes with the mind. So you need to think this very smartly, and then you need to think this. You need to take it very kindly. You need to think smart and be kind, and then there will be a solution in between somewhere.
All right. Mr. Muralidharan, just in March this year, you had the Pune stray dog crisis that was being discussed in the assembly by an elected representative. It was an MLA, Sunil Tingre, if I'm not wrong. And at the same time, a question that does come to my mind, you gave us the Netherlands example, you spoke about China, Singapore as well. Are there case studies for India to learn from? And what can you also draw a comparison Like you pointed out that we were, into mass killings till the latter half of the 1990s, and where we are today. What's the difference?
Reduce. See, earlier I'll tell you what is the street dog. See, we grew up in a village, right? The street dog means there'll be a dog next to your house, and he'll guard your house. You give him food, he'll guard your house. And what happens one day? It'll become ferocious and start biting people, and killing fowl and etc. Or chasing goats and cows. So people start saying that this become they don't know what, they didn't go to scientific reason. They say the dog has gone mad. It's a mad dog. It should be killed. And there'll be guys who come do it. They'll come and hang it and kill it. Okay. So the multiplication, people didn't have, three times food those days. We ourselves had only 2 times food, and the dog used to get something little bit, whatever the leftover. And today what is happening? There's so many restaurants, etc. multiplied. The non-vegetarian eating, if you take the south, whole of south, there's a lot of non-vegetarian food which is being wasted also. And these get dumped in all kind of dustbins. So the dogs naturally multiply because we are not able to, clean up our garbage bins in time. So obviously, because of this, there's a change in their behavior, etc. So the number of dogs have multiplied. So because, again, your ABC is not successful. That's why this has multiplied. Or they found avenues where they can make money in the name of a dog. So I'll give you an example. A dog goes to a shelter for animal birth control. You know what is the kind of money they used to give? They used to give something like 450 bucks. Out of that, 125 rupees was paid to the doctor for surgery. Now, which doctor, a proper surgeon, will do a surgery for 125 dogs? Now that has become 250. There's no difference, okay? Now it's around 250. Which doctor will do a surgery for 250? Only a quack or some kind of, butcher will be able to do it. And that's what's happening in all these pounds. We came across a situation in Madras, in one of the pounds run by the corporation. A doctor was performing something like 40, 50 operations a day, because he was getting money and he was doing it. And half the dogs had their switches coming out and their guts spilling out. This is how they died. And go into this, the rooms where the dogs are kept. You see blood all over. So these are the kind of nonsense. See, we don't have a proper policing mechanism for all this. So let's admit we are abusing the dogs. And why should forget all that. You say you want to feed dogs. You say you want dogs in the streets. End of the day, what have you done? You went and take away the only pleasure. Okay, you removed all his sex organs, and you have done birth control. Then you would say, I'll keep the dog in the street and feed till its death for 10 or 15 years. How can that be compassion? You are playing God there. You're taking away the only pleasure dog had. They can't multiply, they can't breed. You've taken away all that, their basic rights, and you say, I want to keep them in the street and feed. That is not compassion. That is something completely wrong with this kind of concept. This is where basically the 2023 rules is also flawed in ABC. You take them and you keep them in shelters, do whatever you want. Don't let the people suffer. Don't let the dogs suffer. That's my solution to the
So you earlier said that you got 5% of the people that are out there, showcasing their compassion, helping the dogs out. 95% of the society, on the other hand, is struggling. I mean, on the Libra scales, this is a fight that the dogs are clearly losing out. But I mean, we need to put some voice for the voiceless here as well. Mr. Muralidharan.
Come again, I didn't get you. Come again, I didn't get you the last part.
Sir, the 95% of the people are the ones that are suffering. Essentially a fight that the dogs are losing out on. But at the same time, it's important that we, extend some sort of voice support for our voiceless friends. How do you look at that situation?
We should. See, that's what I'm saying. See, right now the dog is in the road and suffering. How many dogs have been hit by vehicles? How many dogs have lost limbs? How many blind dogs? How many dogs with 3 legs? It's nightmare for the dogs, and there are people.
How do you promulgate this idea in the WhatsApp University, all across WhatsApp chats and RWA organizations, associations? All they're talking about is, get the, the administrative people in. Let's, cull these dogs. Let's take them away. Let's remove them from the property. Just take them away. Push the situation and the issue under the rug, essentially. Mr. Muralidharan.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, can you repeat the last part? I'm sorry, I lost your audio again.
That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm just saying that, you've got RWAs, you've got all these associations and resident welfare organizations that, come out and say that, let's just cull these dogs, let's throw them away, let's push them out. Basically, take the problem away from our vicinity. We don't want to see these dogs. If this is a problem, let it be a problem. Just don't let us see it.
Yeah, see, that is this is a problem with not say. And first of all, you can't blame them also for that because see, I'll give an example of Madras IIT. There were dog issues. What the Madras IIT did, they created huge shelters and put impounded all these dogs and put them there. They put a veterinarian, they put an NGO to take care of the dogs. There were dogs with 2,000 square foot shelters and some of them with 5,000, 6,000 and 2, 3 shelters they created. There's something like 40 dogs. Now the dogs are being taken care, but animal activists, they went, okay, they filed a case saying that no, the dog should be free. How can you, confine them in cages, etc. So the bottom line, the court heard the case and the court said, my friend, the job of IIT is to impart education and not handle the dogs or take care of dogs. If you're so compassionate, take the dogs, keep them in your house or keep it in any shelter which you like. But IIT's job is not. This is where the entire approach towards approach from the court started changing in India. That's the first judgment by one Justice Sandeep Banerjee. He said, please take the dogs away because IIT is not here. Because another point is IIT is a reserved forest. Now there are black box, endangered black box, and there are deer inside. And these dogs are hunting them also. So sometimes the compassion or the animal lovers also become unreasonable. They expect us to change, get into their shoes and start behaving like them. It cannot be because this is society. There are different kind of people. And people like, look at this, the video which is being played now, housemaid being chased by a dog. And this woman will never get compassion because she'll be always scared and worried the dog will bite them. So it can't change the human behavior and the dogs will get abused and abused. So at the end of the day, the voice you want to raise is save the dogs, take them out and put them in shelters because somebody is going to run over them, somebody is going to poison them, there are people who throw hot water and acid on the dogs because a dog is dying outside their shop or house. So that's sheer abuse and nobody is going to go and complain. See, you want to make a police complaint of this, you have to spend half a day of your office work, sacrifice everything,
Right,
go to the
absolutely.
police station, file a complaint, and you push the policeman to come and take action. They're not going to do it because they will, in the police stations are very clear, they will always support the accused because he's the one who's bribing them. So you'll spend half a day or one day fighting and getting somebody arrested and taken to the police station or called into the police station. The fine for that, killing an animal is only 50 rupees. Okay? Even if it's more, this is, a station bail case. The cop will take some money, probably 1,000 rupees, and they'll relieve. You would have spent one whole day. The guy who the accused will come into the police station and leave in half an hour's time. So that's why, see, the law is also flawed. So we can't be blaming everything. We need to solve this problem. So we need to go in one way and solve it and take out the dogs and put
The
them
law
in
needs
shelters
to be
and ask this
tighter.
dog
The
lover
crime
to
and
take care.
punishment antecedent, the cause and effect of the crime and punishment is something that needs to be worked out as well. More weightage should come from the courts. A legal overhaul, it seems, is needed at this point in time. What Ashna also said is of grave significance. It's not just individuals, it is not just animal welfare organizations or the government. It's everybody. The soup is thicker than we think, and everybody needs to come in and put in their little bit, their effort. Compassion or ruthlessness, like Mr. Muralidharan pointed out, that is something for us to decide. I'm, of course, tipping my scales towards compassion, but at the end of the day, these are creatures, these are wild animals, these are stray dogs. They don't have their own voice, and it's important that we extend that support to them. Like Mr. Muralidharan said on the show as well, the onus lies on us. The idea is to save the dogs, not create more problem for the dogs, because at the end of the day, you've got 14 people getting injured, you've got a young boy getting mauled to death, but it's the dogs that face the maximum of the atrocities and crisis. And if that is something that the entire nation isn't willing to talk about, well, we here at News 9 definitely do talk about that. On that note, let me just quickly thank our guest, S. Muralidharan, animal activist. Many thanks for joining us, sir. Always a pleasure speaking to you. And Ashna Savarkar, animal rights activist. Many thanks for joining us with your insightful inputs on this particular story as well. We're going to continue to probe developments. The ABC, the faulty acts that have been put in place, they certainly need some sort of changing. Let's not be so stray to the stray dog menace in India. That's all the time we have for you in this edition. I'm Kabir Naqvi. Thanks for watching News9 Live.